The views and opinions expressed on Deliberately Linked are entirely those of the host, who are completely responsible for all show content. These views and opinions are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure in any way any kind of condition, or to promote any specific lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or personal practice. Nor is the information presented deemed to be accurate or verifiable.
What is up, Deliberately Linked viewers? Lace them up and lock it in, because on today's show, we're going to talk about what it means to be positively negative.
Yeah, it's a little twist on words.
It is.
A little twist on words. So, full disclosure, everybody listening, everybody watching, understand this. We are full supporters of a positive mindset. Both of us live that way. We encourage you to live that way. We've given you guys some of our trade secrets that we function with.
Yep.
But with that being said, there is a point where being too positive turns into a negative. And you have to understand that balance.
There is a balance, because I think we could all agree. We all grew up, hearing simple phrases like shoot for the stars or something like that. And
we encourage you to do so.
We encourage that.
Yes.
Don't misinterpret what we're trying to say here. We want you to shoot for the stars, but there's some realistic lenses that we also need to look through, and preparation of what happens, I guess, when negative things happen.
Yeah.
How do you combat with those?
I think it's important before we really get started for the listener and the viewer to understand this. Every situation, we encourage you strongly to find the positive, okay? Because positivity is fuel.
Yeah.
But also in every situation, and my kids hear this all the time, every moment is a teaching moment, okay?
Yeah.
That means you have to also recognize the negativity in every situation, because there are positive aspects of that. There's positive traits that come with that.
Right.
There are things that you gain from that.
Yep.
And so what we're talking about today are those who strictly focus on the positive, or they're constantly finding themselves in this revolving door cycle of creating positivity to either compartmentalize what's going on, to gloss over it, to hide it, whatever it may be,
For sure.
to ignore it.
Right.
And that's where you can find yourself honestly doing more harm than good.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think we could all raise our hands on this one, listening and viewing the show, that we're just not perfect.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
And it's okay to recognize that and to realize, to not be fake of this positive mindset, or just positive, just everything's peaches and cream life, looking at that. We all have issues. It's just the important thing to recognize that, I think. And
it's huge.
And to what can we learn from this? And, we talked about this on a different topic when we touched on adversity.
Yes.
And I encourage you guys, that was an excellent episode. So go back and listen to that if you have not. But how adversity can be a positive thing.
It is.
It
absolutely is.
It goes hand in hand.
Yes. There are people that are going to listen to this and just be like, these guys are crazy. Or they'll think we're contradicting ourselves.
Right.
And we're not. We're giving you another tool, because these are the tools that we utilize. And today, this topic really came about because I've been spending time with this individual. And gosh, they're a great person.
Yeah.
Fantastic person. They're fun to be around. But as we spend more time together, and I've given some counsel and some coaching, I'm like, sometimes you have to just face the facts, and you have to learn from some of this stuff. And it's great that you have this amazing gift to be able to find those positives in every situation. But the truth is, unless you can recognize the evil or the horrible thing that has occurred, all you're doing is setting yourself up to be a victim,
For sure.
or to be abused again.
Yes.
You're discounting the learning process. That doesn't say you're becoming a negative person.
Right.
What you're doing is you're becoming a better educated you.
Yeah. I'm going to have to cut Mark off, because before he gets fired up, I think we need to shout out Visionary Meals, our sponsor for today. So thank you, Visionary Meals, sponsoring this episode. Guys, okay, listen closely for Visionary Meals. Something really, really big, and I'm actually saying this before it's actually happened, but when you guys listen to it, it's going to be live. Visionary Meals is now introducing a Chef Specials tab. So these are entrees
All designed by Justin?
all designed by our head chef
Oh.
Justin. That you take out my ignorance into the equation of trying to bring in these healthy recipes, and he's like, whoa, Josh, I
can
got
do
a
this
good
better."
idea. I can do this better, and it's still healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat that. So it's going to be a rotating menu around the seasons. So 3 to 4 rotations a year of seasonal recipes, guys, that are healthy, chef inspired. These dishes are, I'm telling you, he's only shared a few with me, and I'm excited to see how the rest turn out. We're actually having a sample day tomorrow. So as you listen to this, it's already happened, of some of these new entrees that are releasing here soon. So guys, stay tuned. These are some stuff that you are not going to want to miss out. I'm telling
super
you,
exciting.
I'm putting our head chef Justin, I'm putting his head up there, that you go to some of these 5-star dining restaurants, I promise you these dishes will compete, if not be better than those dishes themselves.
Justin's amazing, and I'll tell you what makes him amazing is because Justin is passionate about cooking.
Oh man, I'll tell you.
If you ever get to be in the kitchen, if you ever track us down, and you're in the kitchen at Visionary Meals, and you stop in and you see this guy work, he literally loves what he does.
He's in the zone.
It's impressive.
It is.
It's like watching an athlete,
Right.
but with knives and forks and like boiling things.
Right.
But yeah, and the food, I know Justin's going to bring some treats.
I'm
super exciting.
Yeah, no, this is, I'm super excited. Being the owner of the company, how the position I know this is going to put us in as a company.
Yeah.
I mean, next level.
No one's
stuff.
doing this.
Next level stuff.
No one's doing this.
It's crazy. So, Visionary Meals, thank you for the sponsor today. Let's go to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've done is we broke this down, and once again, please feel free to fact check everything we say. We do a lot of preparation for these topics.
Yeah.
But I've broken this down into really 5 points from my stance. And I find these points to be really relatable. And this is why I stuck on this. Number one, I stuck on it because I don't want to bend your ear for 2 hours.
Right.
And number two, I find these things to be able to be understood and to be able to be applied. Okay. So when we go through this and breaking this down, I just want you to understand, we're not knocking anybody for being a positive-minded person. What we want you to do is be a better positive-minded person.
Right.
And these are lessons for all of us. So, and they apply in so many different aspects of your life.
More so, I think, not to be closed-minded.
Correct. Yes. Great.
You know what I mean?
Great word.
To focus on the positive is great.
Correct.
But if you are focusing with tunnel vision, we'll call it, just on the positive, you're missing out on a lot of learning experiences.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, shooting for the stars, or let's even bring in, like, always giving 110%.
Right.
Some people say, well, 110% doesn't make sense mathematically. I understand that, okay?
We're not stupid.
Exactly. And shooting for the stars, no kidding. They're way out there. But understand this, those should be your expectations.
Right.
If you want to be successful in whatever area that you're doing, those should be your expectations. But know this, with those expectations come expectations of you and how you should apply yourself.
Well said.
So to have those, you've got to see your goal. You've got to have the positive, the motivation to do it, but you have to recognize the things that can derail you.
Yeah.
You have to recognize the things that may be hurdles, and then you have to apply that to overcome those.
Yep.
So that's where I think that balance comes into play. Because if you can't recognize that, you're going to fail.
Well, I think that brings us into our first point. You're a ticking time bomb at that rate.
You are.
So it's unrealistic, and it's not sustainable.
Yes. And I do know people like this in my life. I know people, and like I said, it's amazing that they can do this and for how long they do it. But eventually you run into them on a bad day.
Yeah.
And it's the complete polar opposite. I look at it, it's the polar vortex of positive and negative. They stay positive for so long, and they've compartmentalized everything. And then you have that 1, 2 day, 3 day binge where the whole world is crashing. I will never do anything. I will never be anything. Okay, now you're in the vortex because somewhere your defense wall has dropped, and you now have to absorb all that, where you could have been doing this little by little and learning.
Correct.
But the bomb went off.
Yep.
And now we got to get you back.
Right.
Now we got to get you back.
For sure. Yeah.
That's a bad place to be.
It is. No, I think you brought up some great points there. I think you brought up some great points.
There are two, well, actually, there's three that kind of could all fit together. So we call it the LOVs, okay, the loss of values. So you lose the value of support, you lose the value of a lesson, and you lose the value of emotions. These are all learning learning components
For sure.
of this. Okay. So in the support area, you're losing the ability to learn from others.
Right.
Okay. Because if you can't be real with yourself, if you cannot be vulnerable, then you're not going to get any wisdom from anybody else, because you don't give wisdom to people who already
Right.
seem like they have all the wisdom.
For sure.
Okay, so you've lost out on that learning experience. Then you have the loss of a valuable lesson. This is self-taught. Okay, life is self-taught, folks. If you can,
You live and you learn. You live and you learn. I mean,
exactly. I mean, I don't even know how old that saying is, but
Right.
I've heard it since I was a little kid.
Yep.
But if you cannot go into all those situations and you're like, okay, this is what occurred, this is why this has occurred, this is what I can do to prevent this, this is how I can do this to be better.
Right.
Well, if you never go through that actual period,
Yeah.
and you say, well, that's just life, and man, the rainbow's perfect. If you do all that, then you're going to miss out, and that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
It's going to occur again.
Well, we've touched on this how many times in the show that us both from coaching,
Yes.
you know, sometimes the best experiences for the team when you're coaching is the games that you lose.
Yes.
Because the amount, and people look at that, oh, you have an L on your record. Well, that's negative to a lot of people, but at that time in the moment, the amount of lessons that the team was able to learn at that moment in the season
It's huge.
It probably changed the whole outcome of the rest of the season.
Well, it could.
It could, if it, yeah, correct. It could.
So your coach could choose to do what we were talking about. He could just go in and talk about all the positives. He could talk about all the positives.
Yes. Yeah.
And then guess what? You go to practice, and then you prepare the same way you prepared, and you get your butt handed to you again. All right?
Like a revolving door.
Or he goes in and he says, hey, guys, love the effort.
Right.
Love the effort. Here's the things we can fix. This is why this is occurring. And what just happened? We're going to get to practice now. We're going to get better.
Yeah.
We're going to fix our mistakes. That's what that valuable lesson is.
Yeah.
And then lastly, on the loss, the LOVs, the loss of value, is emotions. Guys, emotions are like muscles. We work out to build stamina, to build strength, to build muscle, right? You read and you do puzzles, or you do things to exercise your brain,
Yeah.
right? Well, emotions are no different. You have to exercise your emotions. You have to allow yourself to go through these different stages. And if the only stage you know is find the positive, find the positive, find the positive, and you ignore some of the other stages, whether it be heartache, whether it be regret,
Right.
whatever that emotion may be, you're never going to strengthen those emotions.
Well, sometimes from those emotions, the anger, the depression, and so on, sometimes that can be the driving force and even the motivation to make change happen.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But if you don't recognize it, that's not going to happen.
Correct. So just maintaining a purely positive attitude, overall feeling that all will just be A-okay, can stifle and water down the importance of emotions
Right.
themselves.
I feel that by going through the gambit of emotions,
Right.
if done correctly, if going through the negative with a positive outlook,
Exactly.
okay, once again, you see where we're marrying these two things.
Mm-hmm.
With that positive outlook, you can build confidence.
Yeah.
You can educate yourself and learn from this moment. And
Right.
what you've done is you've strengthened yourself for the next time. Because if you think that I've crossed every hurdle in my life, I'll never have any more, I'm here to tell you, don't get out of bed tomorrow.
Right.
Just stay in bed.
Yeah, seriously.
And then what's going to happen is if you do that, you're going to realize that staying in bed's a hurdle.
Yep.
Okay, they're not going away.
Nope.
They're not going away.
No. Not even a little bit.
You have to attack life. Okay, and when you attack things, you have to see the whole picture.
Right.
If you don't, you're going to get beat.
Yeah.
And I just,
You're either a predator or you're a victim. I mean,
you are. I mean, sharks and minnows, man.
Right.
I mean, been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
But my heart goes out to these individuals, because I feel like, as amazing as that personality is, as that mindset is, which in some places I'm like, you have a gift. Like, you have a gift to be able to find this in the weirdest
Yeah.
spot where I never would.
Right.
Okay. But then you listen to a lot of the other stories, and they'll tell you about being taken advantage of. They'll tell you about some past relationships or business dealings where they just got taken to the cleaners.
For sure. It happens all the time.
All the time. And then as they're telling you this, then they shift in, but I really deserved that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you look at them like, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Well, and
that's what got me to think about this.
I think it's an excellent point, and I think that brings us into another piece of this episode of this show. A lot of people, unfortunately, they'll be like, "Well, this is what God wanted for me," and I hate to say it for you, that's not always the case.
No.
That's not always the case, and as I myself dove into this topic, man, I was feeling very constricted. And, as I was reading a lot of articles done by psychologists, renowned psychologists around the world, and psychologists after psychologists, there were so many studies done on this topic. And unfortunately, individuals that misinterpret the word have almost put a bullet on Christians' back in a way, to where a lot of these psychologists are belittling Christianity because of the mindset that some of these overly optimism individuals, and when they relate it back to faith, it's just the misinterpretation, I guess, of the word.
Well, I think where you have to be careful, and I think where you're going with this is you don't twist the word to fit your life.
Thank you.
You adjust your life to fit the word.
Yes.
That's how, because there is no fault in the word.
Right.
Okay. To any of our listeners who are non-believers, our viewers who are non-believers, understand this. If you're judging Christianity based upon personal interaction you have with people who call themselves Christians, please don't. Because that relationship it's all individual basis. Okay. So some people go about it one way, some people go about others. It's not for us to judge how they do it, but understand that should not be the marker in which you judge that on. Right. You should dive into that yourself and find where that works in your life and how it applies in your life.
Right.
Because everybody's in a different place at all times.
Yeah.
Well,
and a lot of these studies were saying, and it was super interesting. Before we launched this episode, I was like, man, Mark, we might need to postpone this show, because I think there's a ton of, literature and resources out there that I don't think we both have had time to even look at. And it probably deserves more than we both gave. And obviously you quickly reminded me, hey, we're going to focus on these 5 points for the timing of the show. And I obviously I understand that, but a lot of what these studies were saying is instead of living an optimistic or this positive mindset on a daily basis, it wasn't even talking about be positive and see the negative. It was saying, no, individuals out there live strictly in a negative mindset, and they're able to almost see the good in the bad. And I thought that was super interesting. And it just, for me, I guess what we're always, like we talked about, always growing up hearing constantly, shoot for the stars, be positive, everything's going to be okay, hoop-de-doo, this and that. It just really corrupted by some actual scientific studies and legit, I guess, research.
Sure.
And I found myself like, man, this is twisting my head up, because it really is. And I love that what you're saying about not being too optimistic. But as the viewer and the listener, stay with me here. As a viewer and the listener, like Mark said, and like we have both said, don't misinterpret that. Having that positive mindset is good, but I cannot put an exclamation mark more and more on the almost some of the negatives in your life will teach you more than some of the positives.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so let me sum this up for everybody.
Please.
Really real quick.
Yeah, get it.
Really real quick.
Get it.
Okay, listen. I spoke about this, and here's another way to look at this. All of this is applicable. Mm-hmm. Okay, Josh and I do not come on here and claim to be experts on any topic.
Please,
and
no.
Every topic that we discuss, I promise you, with very minimal effort, you can find anything to argue what we're saying.
Easy.
Okay? It's the world of Google, right? So understand this. What we attempt to be every week is relatable.
Yes.
We attempt to be 2 normal guys. I'm a father of 5 with a wife, a mortgage, no job, retired. And Josh is a up-and-coming entrepreneur who, what'd you say earlier?
About what?
How you live? What'd you call it?
Oh, I live like no one else, so later I can live
like no one else. So right now, let's say he's living like no one else.
Living like no
okay,
one
I
else.
couldn't even find a bottle of water. All right, just so we're clear.
Yeah, we're running dry here in the studio.
So understand that. We come to you humbly. All right, we're not coming here trying to be the wisest guys or tell you we know everything. So when it comes to this actual topic, it's applicable in this sentiment right here. Balance is key.
It's everything.
Okay, you need to find that balance within your life. So if you're the person who is constantly positive, you're like, no, but that's just how I live. That's fine. Understand though, I'm telling you that you can live better. And if you're that negative person who never sees positive, and you're like, yeah, see, I was right. I'm supposed to be negative.
Right.
Look, I find all the value in negative. That is positive way. No, I'm telling you, you can be better.
Yeah.
Balance is key because balance is your defense mode. Balance is your education. Balance is you training and strengthening yourself.
Yep.
All those things are necessary. And Josh and I spoke about this before we even started. Josh is a positive first. Okay. He looks at every situation, and his mindset, his confidence tells him, I don't care what attacks me. I will overcome that.
Right.
Okay. Now, my wife would tell you I'm a negative person. Josh would not agree with that. We spent a lot of time together. Now, why she says that is because I approach every situation, I want to recognize my enemies.
Yeah.
Because then once I recognize them, then I lean on my positivity and all the things that I've learned and all the good exercises and all the motivations I use myself to know this is what I got to attack. This is what I have to overcome. Right. So it's the same thing.
We're still moving in the right direction. We're just flip-flopped.
We go a different direction.
Yeah.
So when you're listening to this, don't take everything as like, okay, X, Y, Z. That's how it goes in order. No, what I'm saying is take this and say, how does this apply into my balance of life?
Right.
We're just telling you, you need balance for many different reasons. Okay. And these are reasons that we've either experienced or, like I said, research shows us that the 5 topics that are coming to you tonight are coming from a 2014. It's on Notable Life. And they wrote this article based upon a lot of people that they interviewed and how they're affected and what they know and through research. And once again, people who have a lot more of those little letters after their name that I don't have.
Right. No.
But it's all applicable.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And we feel it's a topic to share with you guys because not only is it applicable, how I say it,
applicable,
or relatable, it's also based on experiences that I think we both have had. So,
but I love the word you just used, relatable.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It's very. I mean, we all deal with this on a daily basis, guys.
Some of us do.
Oh, I'm more so speaking towards
go down the rabbit hole.
As far as the lens,
go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You want to be relatable.
You're right.
If you're not relatable, then you're not approachable.
Yeah.
There's lots of people out there that can't approach somebody because they're not relatable.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, so if you're not being relatable, I think what you have to do is look in the mirror and say, why am I not being relatable? Mm-hmm. So for those people who are nonstop positive and they see positive to where they're harming themselves. That's what we're talking about. You're harming yourself.
Right.
If not physically, emotionally, or mentally, then you're not relatable because people cannot compute what you're saying. They're looking at your surrounding. They're looking at your situation. They're looking at your experiences. And they're going, man, you're missing something here.
Right.
Because you know what? Now it's this revolving door of the same stuff happening over and over and over. And like you have this beautiful mindset, but the same bad stuff's happening over and over and over.
Right. Imagine if you just stopped yourself and was able to recognize the negative things that are going on in your life, the changes that you can make to stop that revolving door, and then now we can progress forward as an individual.
Yes, because you get caught in that cycle.
You do. It's a trap. It's a trap.
And you're honestly tricking yourself.
You are. I was just going to say that you're tricking yourself because it feels good.
You trick yourself over and over, and I'm here to tell you, and I mean this out of love for everybody. It's annoying.
It is
No
annoying.
one likes watching people fail over and over and over.
Yeah.
I'm the guy, you'll sit there and you will watch, you can watch some of this stuff like, some of these ninja things on TV, or you watch some of these other like game things and watch these people fail. Like I just begin to like, just stop, please stop. Because now it's starting to hurt. Like it's hurting me and I'm just watching.
I don't ninja things.
Like the Ninja Warrior, and you see these guys. It's like, okay, no one's doing that.
Right.
Why would you even attempt that?
I feel you.
Just stop.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's like let's be serious. But I'm telling you, it's all about being relatable. Because if you're relatable, then you're approachable. And if you're approachable, guess what that means? That means you're inviting other people's positivity. And they're bringing that wisdom. They're bringing life experience. And now they're adding value. Okay?
Right.
Lessons that you can learn added to the lessons you've taught yourself.
Well, I think something that you said a little bit ago, that you view things in the negative light first.
Correct.
Because you almost, quote unquote, like to see maybe where your enemy is or what,
enemies, hurdles, whatever
what
it may be.
vulnerabilities that you have
Correct.
coming your way.
Yes.
And I think as a society, we have ingrained or almost trained ourselves to constantly see the glass half full.
Yes.
And I think in a way that can be hurting a lot of us, because imagine if we just stopped and instead of looking at that glass half full and look at that glass half empty and the amount of wisdom that we could maybe partake in, because we are now seeing, okay, I could look at that half full and be like, okay, things are going to be over the hill. Everything's going to be perfect. But let's just change my perspective a little bit. What if I looked at that glass half empty and now your lens that you're looking through completely changes and you know the vulnerabilities, the hurdles, the trials that are coming your way, instead of being there, no, I'm going to look at that half full because my life's perfect. Nothing bad's going to happen to me. And if it does, it's meant to happen. It's okay. Change your mindset, change your perspective, and you might just avoid some of those things that could be coming your way.
Because then what happens when you recognize that,
Right.
you reflect on past experience,
Yeah.
or because you've been approachable, you reflect on maybe some experiences other people
sure.
have had, and now you can prepare yourself.
And you guys might be sitting there, okay, Josh, give me an example. This is literally just an example that popped in my head. Okay, versus looking at the glass half full and half empty. You could look at the glass half full and be like, I'm applying for that job over there. I'm going to look at that glass half full because I know I'm going to get it. It's my time. It's my day. I'm going to get this job. Or you can look at that glass half empty and I'm like, I know I have an interview for that job on Thursday, but I'm going to apply and line up some other interviews just in case it doesn't go the way I want it to. Because I'm telling you, in life, things don't always go the way you want it to. Prepare yourself for the failures ahead, because if you prepare yourself, you will be ready for what's ahead of you.
That's perfect. It's perfect. That's a prime example. It's simply like, well, then you're not being positive. You're being negative, saying you're not already getting that job. No, that's called being prepared.
Fail to plan is a plan to fail. We're going to say that so much on the show.
Every time.
Telling
and
you.
I never ever do this, and I don't. And the longer we're on this show together, I'm sure it'll happen. So another prime example, people say, well, how do you approach this, or why do you think the way you think? Okay, so I am a stage 4 terminal cancer patient. Just throwing it out there. Everybody, Josh knows this. He knows this very well. I wake up every day knowing and recognizing what my body is going to say no to. Every single day.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Don't feel my left leg. My back hurts. Don't want to do anything. Upset stomach, headaches, migraines, can't feel my fingertips. We go down a list of all kinds of things. I used to wake up every day knowing I'm going into chemo.
Right.
Every day.
Right.
Which, by the way, folks, I drove myself to chemo every single day by myself and
Puking,
back.
Stopping, puking.
Okay? Every day. You know what I did every day? I did it with a smile. Because you know what I did? I recognized the evil that was in my room.
Yeah.
I do it every day to this day. I wake up. Josh knows this. I wake up every day and I try to do a little workout to keep myself as good as I can keep myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But that's how I fight life.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. So you're saying, oh my gosh, but the first thing you do every day is remind yourself of all the negativity. Yes, so I can prepare my mind to use that motivation and to build up those defenses to fight those things and to push myself through each day. That's how you do it.
Because whether we all like it or not, your terminal cancer is there.
It's real.
And it's real. So there's no sense in trying to convince yourself or others around you that everything is perfect.
You've got to acknowledge it. You've got to recognize it, and then you got to beat it.
But don't give it the acknowledgement that it deserves.
So,
and I know you're super, super good at that.
So people say all the time, why don't you do that? I have 2 things I say all the time. Number 1, I have no complaints. That's my.
Right.
If you ask me how I'm feeling, or if you DM us, say how's he feeling, I guarantee your response, and Josh knows this, is he has no complaints.
Right.
It's like a catchphrase at this point. And I'll tell you why I say that, because I'm not going to give it the respect to complain. And then literally number 2, when we talk about giving it respect, I don't give it respect.
Right.
I don't give it respect because it's going to win eventually. That's just how it works. But the reality is, it will never beat me.
Right.
Like I may lose, but I'm not going to get beaten. So that's where people look at that and say, oh my gosh, that's such a negative topic. But I hear the positive in that.
Yeah.
Like I may lose, but I'll never get beaten.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like all you folks, I don't care what you're dealing with. I don't care what happens to you. I'm not allowing myself to be a victim. I don't allow myself to be abused. I don't allow those things to happen because I recognize the negativity. I learn from the negativity. I've had to learn my whole body over these last 6 years again. Right. You learn from it and you move on and you apply those things. But it's like even me, myself, I've made myself relatable to so many other people because I'm willing to talk about it. I'm willing to use the mindset that I have to be able to approach it.
For sure.
That's what we're talking about. It's okay to see the negative because if you're not learning from those, you're losing.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And I hate to throw that out there and Josh will say, man, that's a whole nother topic for another day. And he's right. We'll probably talk about it again. But it just seemed like it's so much applied.
Yeah.
Because you have to wake up every day saying, here's what I'm going to do. Here's my mindset. Here's what I'm going after.
Right.
If you want to wake up and say, here's all the positive I'm going to bring to the day, that's great. I'm going to prepare myself for the hurdles. That's fine. And if you want to wake up out of bed and say, here's the hurdles I'm going to face, and then this time I'm going to do it. I don't care how you flip-flop it.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Balance.
Balance.
Balance is everything.
Yeah. That was good.
Did I knock all the words out of you? I know you didn't know that was coming. Like, to be honest with you, I didn't know that. You know me. I didn't know I was going to share that.
That wasn't planned. We've actually talked about that. It's an emotional topic. Obviously, I think for the both of us, Mark hides his emotions a little bit better than I do when it comes to that topic.
You know I'm a crier. I cried your whole wedding.
Well,
like
when it comes to that topic, he does pretty well. But
do you know why? Do you know why I do well at it? Because I want to just throw this vibe of positivity at everybody around me so they don't think about it.
Well, you just want to come off as your life's perfect, right, buddy?
Well, if you spend any time with me, you know it's not.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
there it is.
I make more mistakes than the average person.
There it is. It came out. Okay.
No, it's an approach.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the whole being relatable. It's the whole being approachable. It's the whole balance.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Maybe you don't have cancer. Okay. Maybe you're going through a really, really tough time.
Yeah.
Maybe you're homeless.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can wake up every day and you can be the guy that says, hey, I'm just going to be negative all day long. Well, guess what? Then chances are you're going to stay where you are.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one whole aspect on this side.
Yeah.
Right. Or you can be the person who's homeless and you can say, well, it's not that bad. And, you know, I get through and blah, blah, blah. And you see only the positive in being homeless.
Right.
Find the middle.
Yeah.
And say, okay, here's my situation. This is how I can approach it.
Right.
Here's my skill set.
Right.
I can apply this and I can better myself.
Yeah.
It may take me some time.
For sure.
But I can do that.
Well, Mark, you do an excellent job, I think, on a daily basis. Now referring to your cancer, since you broke the ice on that, but you do an excellent job, you know, on a daily basis that I've always noticed, you know, from the outside looking in. You know, there really are two major types of people in our life, and we've talked about obviously the over positive people, but one we haven't touched a ton on is the over negative people. Yeah. I think we all could, you know, ponder wherever we're at right now and just kind of think about some individuals that are anything and everything that comes out of their mouth is negative.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of us would probably just point to the our work environment. I feel like that is very common, mostly because individuals might not be happy with where they're at in their career or whatever it may be. But I think over positive or over negative. And, you know, really what we're talking about here, and Mark brings up, obviously, his terminal cancer, and he couldn't be a better example for this topic itself when we are talking about balance. And I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but I just wanted to really, you know, harp on the importance that, you know, Mark could either go either way on this. He could wake up every day and be like, my life freaking sucks. You know, I'm diagnosed with this illness that is, like you said, eventually going to kill him. Or he can wake up every day and act like it's not there. And he doesn't do either one of them. He has a perfect balance where he recognizes it. Now, he won't give it the respect that it deserves, like he said, but he recognizes what he is fighting, and he prepares himself on the daily basis with his first task at hand, saying, hey, I know I have terminal cancer, but you know what? This terminal cancer guy is going to go down in his basement and is going to work out because he can. And that is the mindset that we're talking about, recognizing maybe what you are dealt with at the time in your life, but finding the positives and truly as an individual harnessing and looking at and really do have looking at it in an optimistic lens and saying, I don't care what's going on in my life. I see it. I recognize it. That's my hurdle. I'm going to go run through it. It doesn't matter.
See, and you bring up a great point, and I'm going to twist this for everybody listening so it's relatable.
Yeah.
I call it a realistic lens.
Okay.
Okay. The thing I try not to say very much on this show is in reality, because I say it all the time. But here's the truth. I look at everything from a very realistic lens. Okay. If you don't respect to a point your opponent,
Yeah.
then your opponent's going to beat you.
Yeah.
Because that means you did not educate yourself.
Right.
So if you're looking at your job as a hurdle or an opponent or a struggle, then if you don't at least respect it enough to study it, how it works, what makes it better, what makes it worse, then you're going to lose to it.
Yeah.
Relationships are the same way.
That's a great point.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. If you think we've gotten off topic, you've missed a point here.
Right.
Positively negative. Okay? And Josh summed it up really good when he talked about the person who is in denial. That's what I call it. And everything's peachy keen.
Right.
Or you have the person who lives in the lowest of lows. All the lights are off. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. I'm going to isolate myself.
Right.
Okay. That's what we're talking about. Right now, we're focusing on the person who is in denial.
Yeah.
Everything's positive. Nothing can change that. I don't care what happened. You're missing out.
Mm-hmm.
You're really missing out. And I mean that out of love, because you have to recognize stuff. You have to give it the respect it deserves, because that's the only way you can beat it.
Yeah.
And that's what I say. When I say I may lose, but I will not be beat, there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a
For
major
sure.
difference. If you play sports, maybe you understand that. If you're not a person who played sports, maybe you're like, well, that means the same thing. It does. But what you're missing there is the effort involved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you walk out on the field and you just accept an L, okay. But a beating's different.
That hurts.
A beating's different. Sometimes you just can't handle or control the loss.
Right.
But getting a beating,
You didn't prepare.
You got whooped.
You didn't prepare.
I won't be whooped.
No.
I just won't be whooped.
No.
That's what I want you guys to do. I want you to not get whooped by life. I don't want you to get whooped by other people. I don't want you to get whooped by situations.
Yeah.
I want you to prepare yourself. And if you're that person who is always constantly positive, I promise you, look in your life. You're stuck in a cycle. You are stuck in a cycle.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Go back 5 years, 10 years. I guarantee you life is repeating itself in your world.
Sure.
It is repeating itself, whether it's bad relationship after bad relationship, whether it's dead-end job after dead-end job. You know what I mean? Whether it's the same, I'm in the same financial setting I was 15 years ago. It's a cycle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nothing ever goes right for me, even though I'm the most positive person that I know. People constantly abuse me for my time, my money, my effort.
Take advantage of
You're
it.
in a cycle.
Yeah.
It's okay to recognize there, and trust me, there's even good people in your life who actually contribute to your abuse,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
because you're the person they know they won't say no.
Right.
They won't say no.
Take advantage. Yeah,
Just
you're
get
easy.
out of the cycle. Get out of the
And
cycle.
that's the great thing. I mean, if you're that individual, okay, well you just heard it. Make a change. It's never too late.
Oh.
It's never too late, guys.
Do not be intimidated by change.
No.
Don't do it.
Good podcast.
Do not be intimidated by
Yeah, no.
change.
That's all there is to it, guys. If you're that individual or you know somebody out there, it's okay. It really is okay. It's not too late to change. And I think if we all, including myself, I think I've taken a lot away from this show that I myself can be better about changing, the lens maybe that I'm
Yeah.
looking through, and recognize some of the negative and maybe recognize some more of the positive too. I
think
go on
both.
each
I
ways.
think both you and I, knowing you and I the way I do,
Yeah,
we could.
I
both,
could probably find more positive.
We could both do better at finding more positive in life.
Yeah.
But no, I just want to encourage people to not get stuck in a cycle either way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in the title, positively negative, their balance is key, because when you're out of balance in these areas, it becomes unhealthy.
It does.
Okay. And really, I'm only sharing this with you guys because I get concerned for people.
Well, we see it on a daily basis.
We do. It's unfortunate. And I want people to be the best them.
Yep. As
And
a
remember
society,
that.
we can be better.
And yes, and remember that if you're not the best you, then you're not the best for anybody.
For sure.
So to be the best you is going to be the best for everybody.
Yep.
And that's what we want. And to do that, you have to have balance.
You do. That's good.
Okay. And that's a shout out to my boy Dave down in Tampa, because the best you is the best for everybody is totally his. I did not create that.
Good stuff, Dave. Yeah, I
yeah.
knew that sounded way too good for Mark.
Yeah, no, I'm not near that smart.
That's
no,
good.
it's the truth. So, hey, I want to lighten the mood in here, because he's like, since I said that, if you guys are watching, the guy went full on, cuddle me. He wants to hug, and it's like not going to happen, which is crazy because he knows all this stuff. But hey, I want to lighten the mood. Okay,
Let's do
so
it.
your fun animal fact for the day.
Oh, let's get it.
All right. Seeing eye dogs, right? These are dogs that are trained to assist the blind, right?
Okay.
People that can't see have seeing eye dogs, right? They are trained, check this out, to do their business on command.
Like poop and pee.
On command. Like these amazing animals will hold it until their owner, who cannot see, tells them to go. And the funny thing is like one of the number one commands is get busy.
Get busy?
Yeah.
Really? That's
So they
great.
say get busy and the dog does his business. Now, do you know why they do that?
What?
Okay, this is like two fun animal facts at the same time. So it's easier for the blind person to clean it up. Because, it's like people take their dogs on
Okay.
walks and so on and so forth, and you poop someone's
That
yard.
makes sense.
It's nice to clean it up.
I was going to put a twist on it before you said that. I was going to say maybe they just don't know when they're doing their business. Who did the study? Let's be real.
So I'll tell you what. I know your dog. That would be your dog.
That's so true.
Your dog could do it until you walked in it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, man.
As smart as that dog is.
Because he is too smart for his own good.
Right, that's true.
Fantastic.
Good stuff. Hey, no, before we wrap this show up, sponsor numero dos.
Yes. I'll tell you guys, we were just talking about this once again. We cannot be more blessed than to be partnered with Tip Hat Media.
The best of the best, I'm telling you.
Gosh. Every week, this guy does something that literally, part of me thinks like you and I, we're like way low spectrum on IQ compared to Lincoln.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, he talks this stuff like I don't even know, like some of the languages he speaks.
I barely work Word on my computer. This guy does stuff, and I'm just like, that's like a real thing.
Right.
And he looks at me like, man, this is elementary.
For sure.
So he's just amazing.
He is.
His graphics ability, his sense, and his comprehension of the computer and how those systems work and how to. I'll tell you what he does. It's like if I were to give you a cupcake and just put on some store-bought icing. Okay? A store-bought cupcake with a store-bought icing.
I like it.
Lincoln comes to the table with like this amazing masterpiece with it's homemade, it's delicate, it's moist, and then it's got this beautiful, just decorated cream cheese icing.
Ooh.
It's just so different.
It is.
I mean, it's the same thing, but it's different.
Guys, I'll be honest with you. In my line of work, I've worked with a handful of videographers, photographers. I have not yet, before Lincoln, since Lincoln, I've never worked with someone else with not only the personability, but the skill set that this guy has.
It's off the charts.
It's amazing because Tip Hat Media, guys, we're not just saying this because he's a sponsor for us.
Lincoln, I hope you're throwing this stuff up here.
Toss it up there, Link. I'm telling you guys, the skill sets he makes the consumer. Let me put it this way for you, for my entrepreneurs, business owners, whoever out there, whoever's listening, whoever's out there needing a product like his, because in the society, in the world that we live in nowadays, marketing, you need a product like Lincoln's. He makes myself as the consumer not have to do anything. And I've worked with past videographers, photographers on a lot of stuff, and a lot of it still ends up being busy work for myself.
Nothing.
And I'm telling you, he takes everything. He makes it simple. He makes it easy, accessible, whatever it might be. Guys, he's the best of the best.
Just from his production ability with, like, for instance, our podcast.
Right.
We literally get in here. We're two talking heads. We press record, which he taught us how to do. And
Seriously.
then we ship it off to him, and he makes it into this amazing thing.
Yeah.
That's just the production side. I mean, I've seen some of these hype videos he's done. I've seen some of the aerial work he's done for local realtors. I'm here to tell you, if you want to sell houses, Tip Hat Media is going to sell houses for
no
you.
doubt. No joke.
And literally, you put the stuff in his lap, and it's like magic.
Right.
It's amazing. And I traveled the country doing public speaking. I worked with some promo companies. Some of these guys, best computer guys you ever meet. I mean, these guys do the hype videos for the Browns, the Cavaliers, some of the biggest names out there. I mean, freaking Cart Kellogg recorded in the same studio I was in.
Right.
All those things.
Yeah.
Lincoln Meikle is easily, bar none,
Correct.
better.
Well, guys,
I hate to say that because I don't want to knock those companies, but the dude is class. He's top notch.
It's so true. And guys, to continue on Tip Hat Media, 2019 going into 2020, your content is, everyone's doing it now. Everyone is on the content bandwagon.
Yeah.
Everyone knows to put out content.
different.
Exactly. Creativity. And I'm telling you what, iPhone, they make a great camera, but I'm sorry, nowadays that's just not enough. If you're doing some work for somebody, or you're trying to post a house for somebody, or you're trying to take a video for a client or a post for a client, whatever it might be, I'm sorry, but your iPhone camera is not going to cut it. And if you think it is going to cut it, that's fine. Send it to Lincoln. He'll make it look like he shot it. Like he was.
If you don't believe him, give this guy a shot. Do one of your own videos the way you've been doing them, or do some pictures the way you've been doing them. Send him this guy and say, hey, show me what you would do with this. And I promise you, when it's done, you're like, okay, sign me up.
I'll tell you what, I'll cover the cost too.
Hands down.
I'll cover the cost.
Hands down. Right now, Deliberately Linked will cover the cost.
Yep.
Because I'm here to tell you, when we're done, you're signing with him anyways.
No
okay? It's literally, the product sells itself.
Yeah.
And he is one of the easiest guys to work for.
Yep.
We're very fortunate, very humble to work with him. We would not be who we are without him. So we love our sponsors. We're sorry for those that we don't always get to work with just because things don't work out. Yeah. But we do. We love our sponsors. You guys keep our show going.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Good show.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, guys. All right. Well, there it is. That's a wrap for, what are we on? Episode 11.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Please.
Positively negative.
Balance is healthy. Okay? Please.
Balance is healthy. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Last quick reminder for you guys. Again, we are on just about every audio platform out there, Instagram and Twitter. Do us a favor. Look us up. Follow, like, and subscribe, guys. We appreciate that, and we let you know every week. Leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the show.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have a topic that you would like to hear about. And even if you have one random question, shoot us your random question. We'll dedicate a show to some of the questions that we're getting. Or if you just ask us a
question, I promise you we'll answer it on the air.
Heck yeah. No problem. And again, don't forget your fun animal facts.
Yes.
That's it.